coming up on At Your Leisure.
This is Curt. I'm Jake with Slikrok Productions.
And we're about to show you why we love Rangers.
And I'm Reece Stein. Marianne and I will take you into the longest hole in the ground in the country.
Hi, I'm Hermansen. You ever wondered how to put a wood bed in the classic truck? Well, you're going to see it today.
Welcome to AYL. Today we're going to show you why these Rangers are so damn cool. We put front and rear bumpers on this thing from DRT. They're super strong, and we just like the styling of them. I think they add a great look to it.
They really do. They take the Ranger from being kind of basic to kind of that next level.
Kind of gives it a cool off-road sport look to it.
Yep.
So oddly enough, power windows at the push of a button, that's really cool.
It is. Seriously, no more of this feature.
Yeah, no more of that cranking stuff. I like that. So we have a display up here. This is the Polaris Ride Command. When you put it in reverse, backup camera comes on.
Which is so handy when you're plowing, especially with areas like we have with trailers and other vehicles out and around.
Yeah, it makes visibility really great. I like that part a lot. Air conditioning and heat at the push of a button right here. You can adjust your cab, your climate control here. This is super nice.
It is, because I like plowing in a t-shirt.
Window pops up out of your way if you want that, if you want to feel the wind in your hair, which we don't have. So these new seats in this new Ranger are bolstered. They got a little more padding in them, and those bolsters make a big difference in the padding. The last couple of years, the seats have been historically pretty bad in these, but this is a lot better. They did a great job with this.
It really, because I was about an hour max that I could sit in one of these because of the way you're positioned in them, the cushions. Like you said, the bolsters were a huge thing. Being able to hold yourself in the seat.
Yeah, these are definitely a lot more comfortable now.
Yep.
2-inch receiver in the back if you want to pull a trailer.
Which does come handy when you're cleaning up the yard. You need to haul leaves off and things.
Yeah, I pull my little trailer around with this thing. It works great.
Yeah, for sure. So I feel that we've sat in the shop here talking about the Ranger enough. How about we hop in these things and go put them to the test up in the snow?
I like that. Let's get them warmed up. Let's go out there and play. While we're doing that, check this out.
I'm Reece Stein, At Your Leisure, along the way in southern Kentucky, and we're heading into the longest hole in the ground in the country.
I think this is a wonderful hole in the ground and mostly undiscovered by Westerners.
4,000 years before tourists descended into what is now Mammoth Cave National Park, early man left evidence of prehistoric presence. Today, over 500,000 people a year take the plunge into the massive darkness on one of several guided tours through portions of the 426 known miles of passageways, the longest cave system in the world. Tours are led by expert and often entertaining Park Service guides.
Questions about that or anything before we move on? Anything at all?
Running water scoured huge tunnels through the soft limestone barely 300 feet under the surface. A cap of harder sandstone protects the caves below. We're on the 2-hour history tour, one of a variety of guided walks, and hear that a local farmer chasing a wounded bear discovered the entrance in 1797. In the early 1800s and through the War of 1812, miners gleaned saltpeter from the cave for gunpowder. In 1816, public tours began. Enslaved African Americans were used as tour guides and left their marks on the cave walls. Today, it would be a federal offense to do that. The most famous guide was 17-year-old Stephen Bishop, who is buried nearby. In 1838, he not only led tours, but explored and discovered some of the cave's best-known attractions, including the nearly 200-foot-high Mammoth Dome. This vertical dome pit, hollowed out by running water, is spectacular from the new 138-step tower. In all, this tour has 440 stairs in 2 miles. This historic hike has just a couple of familiar cave formations, including frozen Niagara, towering flowstone of calcium carbonate or travertine coating the limestone. We saw no stalactites or stalagmites.
It's not your pristine, never-before-seen cave. It's a real different kind of experience for me.
We exit the cave into a lush, pristine forest of multicolored maples. A 2-mile loop trail winds up and down the Cumberland Plateau of the Appalachian Mountains. The trail passes Green River, running 25 miles through Mammoth Cave National Park, popular for canoeists and kayakers. This side cave is the exit to the River Styx, one of the subterranean channels that carve the hundreds of miles of cave tunnels. Above ground or below, Mammoth Cave should be on your bucket list.
You've got the woods, and we're here just as the colors are changing. So we've seen beautiful, beautiful terrain and, of course, the longest cave in the United States.
Reece Stein, at your leisure, with this week's Where To adventure at Mammoth Cave, Kentucky.
Unexplored. Does it mean riding the same trails as everyone else? Fishing the same lakes? Stopping at the same views? No. Unexplored is so much more. To find it, you need to get off the beaten path. In the northeast corner of Utah, you and your family can still find a land that's unexplored. The shores of Flaming Gorge are only the beginning of a family adventure in Daggett County. Daggett County, Utah. It's what you find at the end of your adventure.
This holiday season, a new Honda CRF is more than the most reliable machine to hit the trails. Our lineup of family-friendly trail bikes offers the perfect gift for riders of every level. From the CRF 50F to the 110, the 125, and the full-size 250F, you can give the gift of riding to every red rider in the family. So head to Stedman's Recreation in Tooele now during the Honda Gifts That Go sales event and give a gift that'll last a lifetime.
Sometimes to recharge, you need to unplug. In Tikaboo, Utah, you'll find a landscape that will give you more energy than you ever thought possible. Escape the heat in the Henry Mountains, where history, off-road adventure, and bison herds meet. It's time to unplug and recharge. Tikaboo, Utah.
At Your Leisure has a long-standing reputation and a large, loyal audience of adventurers in the outdoors. Although we're excited to continue to grow and enjoy the shared success of our longtime sponsors, we have space for more. And if you have a brand that would benefit from the 2 decades of goodwill that we've built, contact us at AYLTV.com and let us amplify your voice above the competition.
I'm Jake, this is Curt with Slikrok Productions, and we're here in the shop and I want to bring up a conversation with you.
Let's do it.
So, you seem to always be building a new Ranger. Let's dive into a little bit about...
That's what my wife says.
Right? You get it from both sides.
Right.
Let's dive into it. Let's figure out why you favor the Ranger platform, highlights of it, kind of how they've evolved over time. Let's just kind of bounce back and forth here.
The Ranger platform is one of my favorite platforms because it's universal.
Okay.
There's utility to it, there's still sport to it, but there's some comfort features. A lot of years ago, we built our first Ranger, and I kind of fell in love with that thing.
Yeah.
This particular model, I decided to build another one because they've had a few new features on them. They went with bigger bolts in the suspension. Historically, they've had 10 millimeter bolts in them. They went to a 12 millimeter bolt.
Which is nice, which is the same as the Turbo S platform.
Right. Yeah. So it's a lot bigger, it's a lot heavier. Because the only issue I've really had with these Rangers over the years is it'll start egging out holes on the suspension because we make them so big and heavy and we work.
Exactly, yeah. When we take them so far, it's nice to actually have Polaris making those changes to keep up so we're not wallowing out holes, bolts and things. So
I like that part of it a lot.
Let's dive in a little bit. Let's talk about what we do to these to make them functional and how we get them to that point where we're able to use them, follow us on the trails and the different things.
So ground clearance is the big thing that's number one. You got to get them off the ground.
Okay.
And so you have two options with that. You can do a lift kit, which, as you know, I hate.
Yeah.
I don't like running lift kits because it changes the geometry of the suspension. And really on independent suspension, the only way if you put a lift kit on it, you're putting a lot more downward force on your A-arms. And so you don't get travel, your suspension rides really rough, and it changes the axles geometry, the steering geometry, so things wear out prematurely and they break.
Yep.
So we are not big fans of suspension lift kits. But what we are big fans of are portals.
Definitely.
So what you get out of a portal bolts onto the end of your suspension, to your A-arms. It replaces the spindle, and they have a gear reduction. So you get 8 inches wider out of them. You get 4 inches of lift, plus you get gear reduction that offsets the big tires you run.
Yeah, let's talk about that for a second. So the width is a big thing, especially with a vehicle like the Ranger that is so top heavy with the full cabs. When you go 8 inches wider, you get so much more stability on the trail.
Yeah, well, not only stability, you also get a lot more articulation out of it.
Yeah.
And so essentially it's like putting a long travel kit on. Your A-arm is this long, but putting a portal on it's this long.
Right.
So you get more motion out of it. And by getting more motion out of it, you get a better ride quality out of it. They handle a lot better and they are more stable, like you said, because they're wider. And these are roly-poly. They're like driving a Winnebago when they're stock. I mean, they're pretty rough on you. And so portals are the very first thing that we like to do to them because we get the width out of it, we get the ground clearance out of it. The next thing is you got to build the car around that. So heavy duty ball joints, heavy duty steering components, heavy duty A-arms, we replace all that stuff. So everything on all these Rangers that we build all comes from Super ATV. We run all their heavy duty stuff. And we've had great luck with them. We put a lot of miles on them. They're good quality products for the price that you pay. And they have lifetime warranty. So we've stayed in that realm for a long time. Once you get the suspension done, then it just comes down to what do you want to do with your Ranger? Do you want to work it? Is it a mountain rig? We like hunting, we like fishing. We also use them for work. Obviously, we plow snow with them.
We daily them.
Yeah, and so cosmetically, the things that we like to do, we like to, aftermarket lights when we're out at night. We like to be able to see well. Bumpers, winches, recovery equipment is always a must. You get one of these things stuck, you are not pushing it out. They are, unless you got 10 of your buddies with you.
Serious?
They're a little heavy, so we run winches typically on the front and the back of them so we can grab everything we need.
What size tires are we running?
This one's on 35s.
And the way that we're able to run 35 is, like Curt had mentioned before, the portal gear lift has a 30% reduction.
Right.
So it allows you to get away running the bigger tires.
Right. So ultimately, if you are running a 30% reduction portal, that means this machine is 30% lower gear than factory, which means you can go up 30% in tire, and it offsets that so it performs like a stock machine.
And whenever we do it, we try to, in the Ranger platforms, we try to get that ratio as back to 1-to-1 as possible.
Right.
So it's not robbing power, but you're still getting the more clearance from bigger tires.
Right. Most of our rock haulers, we try to go lower gear than factory, sometimes substantially lower.
Yeah.
But one of these, you want to be able to cruise down the road at 65 miles an hour. Where there are dailies, we want them to function like a factory machine.
And when we're working in the shop, we want lunch, and we hop in this and we need to get there.
Yeah. They're great runner vehicles.
first thing you notice is the colors. Blue sky contrasting against red horizon. Blanding, Utah. The world goes on forever out here. There's nothing stopping you. In Blanding, you can ride right from downtown on Recapture Rim Trail, discovering the heritage of the West without limits or boundaries. Don't be held back. Join us in a land of true freedom. Blanding, more to be explored.
When you're ready for adventure, fuel your machine with Clear 91. Fuel for performance, fuel for adventure, and fuel for the long haul. Ethanol-free, 91 octane. Fill up with Clear 91. Only available at Eagles Landing. With you for the long haul.
Welcome back. We're up here playing in the Polaris Ranger in the mountains of northern Utah, out here playing in some snow.
This setup is super cool. This is a new plow setup from Super ATV, but this has got a few unique features that most plows don't have. This one obviously goes up and down like everyone else, but they also have extensions that you can put on them, which takes all the strain off the rope, so you're not breaking cables. We've dealt with that over the years.
We have. I mean, there wasn't a time we'd go out and you're running, just because of how much snow, if it's heavy snow, wet snow, you're snapping this cable all the time.
Yeah, so Super ATV makes extensions you can put on them. It takes a lot of the strain off, but the actuator is the really cool thing. So historically on UTV plows, if you want to turn your blade left or turn it right, you got to get out, pull the pin, get in a fight with it, get back in if you're tired and dying. This one's got a hydraulic actuator on it, so it's all push button in the cab, so that's super convenient. So when it's 12 degrees outside and it's snowed 2 feet and you're in your Ranger in your t-shirt, and it's just push button control on the inside and it's comfortable.
Yeah, you're sitting in there, you're rocking music, you're in temperature controlled, and you're watching your neighbor across the street pushing a shovel or a snowblower and it's all blowing back on him.
Yeah, wind's blowing.
Do you ever feel bad at that point?
Yeah. Sometimes, you go over and you plow your neighbors out because it's just fun. And honestly, I like it when it snows because I like pushing snow now. Yeah. I used to dread that. I don't like snowblowers. I don't like shovels. I'm lazy by nature. But this setup, I'll go plow the whole neighborhood. I don't care. It's fun. But I mean, let's be real. They have heaters in them now. They have air conditioners in them now. They have insulated cabs. They have wipers. They have washers. How do you not like that for an off-road vehicle?
Seriously, it's kind of becoming the bougie of off-road.
Yeah, and so these have proven to be dependable. As you know, I've ran thousands and thousands of miles on these things. My wife uses them for a daily all the time, and we all live here in the mountains, and so we do a lot of riding in the mountains. Yeah. She takes the dogs out and rides a lot. We go back and forth to town.
Yeah, and speaking of that, the very first Ranger that we built back in the day, it was our chase vehicle.
Yeah.
We completely built it out to carry all our parts, tools, everything we needed for breakdowns on the trail.
Yeah, we used to carry, 8 or 10 axles with us, a lot of spare parts, a lot of tools, because we'd break so much stuff.
Right.
So we built that first Ranger, for 2 reasons. One, the girls could ride in comfort, have heat or AC, and then we had something to carry all of our parts in to get us back off the trail. This is Porcupine Reservoir, and it's really close to our house, and it's only a couple miles away, and it's just kind of pretty. Not a lot of people come up here. It's pretty quiet. Porcupine's been here for a long time. There's a lot of kokanee up in here that they spawn in the fall. It's pretty neat to come up, but it's just a cool area that doesn't get a lot of traction. It's not real well known. It's just kind of a peaceful place. We come up here and run our dogs up here a lot. Just kind of come up and go for evening rides, watch the sun come down over the lake. It's just a really beautiful area.
Yes, it is.
These Rangers are super fun, you know. So we're gonna keep thrashing on some snow. We're gonna try not to get too stuck. And while we're doing that, check out this next segment.
I'm Brett Hermansen. We're here in the Van Gogh shop. We've got Rhea's truck here. We're gonna put a new wood bed in the truck. Ought to be interesting. Here we go. Here's Johnny. Well, now that we have all the old boards out, now it's time to get the new boards. We're gonna lay this thing back flat. Now you put your boards on the bed. You want to get this all centered. And so then we want to make sure all these gaps are good. Make sure on this, the end of your boards are lining up so your bed's square. Voila, there we are, all fitted in there. And so now, get our trusty little marker and start marking holes. This is probably the most important part of the job. If you don't do this exactly right, get all your gaps just right, get everything perfect right here, nothing fits when you go to put it back together. You're gonna drill the holes in the wrong places, so you really wanna make sure when you do this, everything's lined up exactly how you want it. You only get one shot at this, so it's gotta be right. This is a very good tip, very important, so pay attention on this one. They make these step bits, that's what I call them. They're a bit that just steps down from a small hole up to a bigger hole. So what you do is you take this, start on the one side, on a normal bit. When you push through, what it does is it picks up the ends of it and makes little nasty burrs and stuff. This is the secret of this drill bit, is to clean all that up, you come at it from this direction. And now you have a nice clean hole on this side and on this side. Okay, now that we have our holes all drilled where they're supposed to be, we're gonna varnish this and put it all back in the bed and put it back together.
Thanks, Brett. He turned it over to me because he didn't like doing woodwork. I do. After all the holes have been drilled and the whole thing's been fitted and it's ready to go, you take the wood and you have to finish it. Now, it comes unfinished. We got ours from LMC. It's already finished sanded. It's ready to go. So I put 2 coats of ZAR, poly, UV, exterior self-leveling, and that's really important. This is the perfect stuff. Hard coat, it will last, and if you scratch it, you just sand it and refinish it again, and it's like brand new. But I didn't want varnish on the bottom side. So on this side, I put a Zinzi cover stain oil-based primer, which has got real high adhesion to it, so it makes it really sticky. And then I put a Sherwin-Williams oil-based finish coat on it in satin, so that when you look under the truck, it won't have a big wooden surface on it. It'll look nice and under truckish. We're done, it's ready. I'm just finishing the last coat, and I will be sending it back to Brett.
This holiday season, a new Honda CRF is more than the most reliable machine to hit the trails. Our lineup of family-friendly trail bikes offers the perfect gift for riders of every level. From the CRF 50F to the 110, the 125, and the full-size 250F, you can give the gift of riding to every red rider in the family. So head to Stedman's Recreation in Tooele now during the Honda Gifts That Go sales event and give a gift that'll last a lifetime.
Wondering where your next OHV adventure will take you? Outsiders Utah has your answer with downloadable GPS routes, ride times, distance, local amenities, and other details. 360 street views of the trails that let you explore before you go, and more. Eliminate the guesswork and uncertainty and find a trail you'll love. Visit OutsidersUtah.com and see the trail before you ride the trail.
What would your perfect day in Green River look like? You'd probably start with a few good friends and a hearty breakfast. From there, you'd hit the trails along the Green River and find things you never expected. Your OHVs would take you to places both striking and serene. You'd end at Ray's for a burger and good conversation, letting the memories grow long into the night. Green River, Utah. Ride your perfect today.
There are a lot of small towns in Utah, and there are a lot of ATV trails, but there aren't very many that offer riding like this. Here in Hanksville, we're the home of Factory Butte. Pure adrenaline mixed with the grandeur of the West. Plus, with plenty of hotels and restaurants, you can stay and explore for days without ever needing a trailer. Hanksville, Utah, your base camp for thrills.
So as you can see, these rigs have proven quite capable. And not only that, they're a whole lot of fun.
They're a lot of fun, they are capable. And to be out here and come and enjoy this in the wintertime, I mean, with climate control, I mean, this is why they're our favorite platform.
For sure.
There's just so much versatility. Well, thanks for tuning in, and make sure you check out next week's show. It's going to be a great one.
Hi, Chad Booth here. Next week, Rhea and I will be joining the Bighorn 4x4 Club as we all decorate our off-road vehicles for a colorful, festive Christmas display for the Ogden Light Parade. Then, Reece Stein is joining some city folk who are looking to get away from their usual artificial Christmas and are out hunting for that most cherished of Christmas symbols. And finally, we are headed back to Brett Hermansen's shop as he is putting on the final touches of Rhea's Christmas present, a new truck bed for her farm truck. Now, let's take a look at our contest winner. This week's contest winner was submitted to us on Facebook by Brenda Short, and it looks like Brenda is the lucky winner of a Clearly Tough windshield for her rig. Clearly Tough offers the strongest windshields in the market, and they are local. Visit clearlytough.com for more information. Congratulations, Brenda, and be sure to call us on Monday at 801-947-8888 to claim your prize.
What a great way to spend the day, right?
This does not suck at all.
No. The only thing that's going to suck is when our wives find out that we came and did this without them.
I'm not telling them nothing, you know.
Your secret's safe with me.
We've been out here enjoying the Rangers, enjoying the weather. We're warm, we're dry, it's super comfortable. The Rangers are awesome. There's no better way to go enjoy the woods than like this. I mean, this is super nice, especially in the wintertime. To be comfortable makes everything, and that makes it all better.
It does.
But remember, guys, life's an adventure. Get out there and find yours.
At your leisure.